I woke up strapped to a gurney in some godforsaken ER. My reflection in the overhead light showing a stranger's face, pockmarked skin,
hollow eyes,
and a body that reeked of cheap cigarettes and regret. That's when I realized the bastard had swapped us, my life for his wreckage, his empire for my corpse of a shell. And in that moment, as the morphine haze cleared, I swore on every broken bone in this stolen skin that I'd drag his soul through the courts of hell before I let him sleep easy again. It started 6 months earlier, back when I was still Kenzie Hale, the sharp-elbowed biotech whiz kid turning heads in Silicon Valley's underbelly.
Palo Alto,
California, land of the free, home of the leveraged buyout, where dreams get coded into algorithms and nightmares hide in the fine print. I was 32, fresh off a PhD from Stanford in neural interfaces, the kind of girl who could debug a brain-computer link faster than most could microwave ramen. My days blurred into nights at Neuralink Labs, a startup masquerading as the next Neuralink, but really just a front for venture vultures sniffing out the next unicorn. That's where I met Victor Kane.
Tall,
Silver fox handsome in that predatory Wall Street way, with a jawline that could cut glass and eyes like polished obsidian, cold, calculating, always 3 moves ahead. He wasn't the CEO, no. That was his puppet, some interchangeable suit named Harlan. Victor was the shadow board member, the whisperer in boardrooms, the guy who made problems vanish with a check or a call. He funded us, sure, but he owned us. And me? I was his golden ticket, the lead engineer on Project Echo, our crown jewel, a neural swap prototype. Not the sci-fi body jump bullshit you see in movies, but real tech. Consciousness transfer via quantum entanglement, tested on rats, monkeys, and finally, desperate volunteers with terminal crap. The pitch? Immortality for the elite. Swap your fading meat suit for a fresh one when the clock runs out. Ethical?
hell no.
But in America, ethics bend for patents. I fell for him hard, the way you do when power smells like cologne and confidence. Late nights in the lab turned into hotel suites in San Francisco. His hands on my code, and my curves with equal possession. "You're brilliant, Kenzie," he'd murmur against my neck, fingers tracing the neural map tattooed on my shoulder, a joke from grad school. We're building gods. I believed it. We were partners, or so I thought. Shared dreams, shared beds, shared secrets. He knew about my past, the car wreck at 20 that left my little brother, Tommy, brain dead in a coma for years. I funneled half my salary into his care at that hospice in Oakland, the one with the peeling paint and underpaid nurses who treated him like forgotten luggage. Victor nodded sympathetically, even cut a check once for the bills. "Family first," he said, kissing my temple. Liar. The betrayal hit like a server crash you never see coming. 3 months into our affair, Project Echo hit a milestone, stable transfer in primates. The board was buzzing, VCs circling like sharks at a chum line. Victor pulled me aside after a demo, his voice low in the sterile hum of the clean room. "Kenzie, this changes everything. But we need human trials." Off books. My stomach nodded. FDA regs were ironclad. We'd be black-bagged by feds if caught. Volunteers, I pushed back. Consenting ones. He smiled that wolfish grin. Of course. And you'll lead it. For us.
Us.
The word hooked me. He framed it as our rebellion against Big Pharma's stranglehold, a shot at real power. But power's a drug, and Victor was the dealer. The first trial was a homeless vet, Earl, with stage 4 lung cancer. We swapped him into a cloned neural scaffold, blank slate body. No memories, just basics. It worked. He woke up screaming, but alive.
Clean.
Victor spun it to investors as a miracle. I drowned the guilt in Merlot and Victor's arms. Then came the second, a comatose donor. Brain dead from an overdose. Body young and vital. Victor handled procurement, shady contacts in Eastern Europe. Whispers of organ farms. I didn't ask questions. Not when he promised the payout would bankroll Tommy's experimental treatments forever. That's when the crack showed. Late one night, hacking through logs to optimize the entanglement matrix, I found it, encrypted files buried in Victor's private server. Echo wasn't just for the dying. It was a vault. Victor had mapped his own neural print months ago, prepped for a swap into a host body, prime, unscarred, mid-20s. And the host?
Me.
My scans from routine checkups. My psych evals twisted into compatibility metrics. He'd been grooming me, not loving me. I was the vessel for his forever, his consciousness overriding mine like a bad OS update. Rage boiled up, hot and American as road rage on the 101. I confronted him in his penthouse overlooking the bay, the Golden Gate mocking me with its suicide stats. "You son of a bitch," I hissed, tablet in hand, evidence glowing. "This isn't partnership. It's parasitism." He didn't flinch. Just sipped his scotch, ice clinking like handcuffs. "Kenzie, darling, you're overreaching. Echo's mine. I built this company from nothing. Your little rat mazes are just the polish."
Lies.
I'd coded the core algorithm. But power talks louder than proof. He leaned in, voice silk over steel. "Walk away now, and I'll wire you enough to play savior to your vegetable brother. Push this, Tommy's plug gets pulled. Quietly. Hospice accident. And you disappear into some psych ward, raving about body swaps. Who'd believe a lovesick coder? Threats in the city by the bay, classic. I stormed out, vowing to whistleblow. Lawyers first, then FBI. But Victor was faster. Always 3 moves ahead. The next morning, I blacked out in the lab parking lot, coffee spiked with something exotic. Roofies on steroids. Woke up not in my skin, but his.
No.
Wait, worse. In Earl's. The vet's body.
Post-swap.
Discarded like trash after the demo. Withered, scarred from chemo ghosts, lungs wheezing like a busted accordion. Victor, in my body live, brilliant, unburdened, had initiated the transfer remotely. Emergency protocol. He called it later in depositions. Self-defense against my breakdown. They dumped me in the ER at County General. San Jose's pit of despair. No ID. No history, just a John Doe with a talk screen screaming overdose. Nurses charted me as transient male. Approximate. 50s. Unresponsive. I lay there for hours. Tube snaking in. Monitors beeping my borrowed pulse. Panic clawed first. This isn't me. Get it out, then clarity. Cold as a server farm. Victor had taken everything. My face. My voice. My life. He was striding through Neuralink boardrooms in my heels, charming investors with my wit, betting my contacts with my charm. And Tommy? Victor's gift check bounced that week. Hospice called his phone, now silenced in evidence lockers. Escape was instinct. I ripped the four, stumbled into the night, rain slicking the asphalt like oil on water. This body was a wreck, arthritis in the knees from Earl's war days. A hitch in the step from shrapnel souvenirs, but it moved. I hitched to a library. Public terminal glowing like salvation. Googled Victor Kane. Clean record. Philanthropist facade. But deeper dives, dark web forums, leaked emails, painted the real portrait. Human trafficking ties for donors, bribed regulators, a trail of vanished whistleblowers. And me, erased. Kenzie Hale, deceased by apparent suicide. Body found in the bay. He'd staged it perfect. Revenge isn't a sprint, it's a DDoS attack. Relentless and anonymous. First, survival. I scavenged Earl's old vet benefits. Faded dog tags in his coat pocket led to a VA clinic. They didn't question the gaps, bureaucracy's blind spot. New name, Harlan Reed. Nod to the puppet CEO. Crash pads in East San Jose motels. The kind with hourly rates and roach symphonies. Days blurred into code binges at internet cafes. Reverse engineering echoes backdoor from memory. I couldn't swap back, not without the lab's quantum rig, but I could expose it. Hacked Victor's auxiliary email, sloppy password, his ex-wife's birthday. Irony's gift. Downloaded terabytes, trial logs, donor manifests. My own neural map tagged Vessel Prime. But proof without punch is pixels. I needed a weapon. Enter Elena Vesquez, civil rights attorney out of Oakland, the kind who chews up corporate titans and spits out settlements. Found her pro bono clinic online, specializing in wrongful death and identity theft, cases where the system's rigged against the invisible. I showed up at her door in Earl's threadbare jacket, voice gravel from chain-smoking ghosts. MS. Vesquez? Was Kenzie Hale. And I need to sue the man who stole my life. She arched a brow, Latina fire in her eyes, but listened. Over stale coffee in her cluttered office, posters of Cesar Chavez glaring down, I spilled it. Body swap. Betrayal. The ER dump. She laughed at first, sharp bark echoing off filing cabinets. Lady or sir, whatever, this is good fiction. Hugo Award material. But courts? You'd get laughed out. Or committed. I slid the drive across the desk. She plugged it in, face hardening as manifests scrolled, kidnapped migrants as hosts, falsified consents. Victor's digital fingerprints everywhere. Jesus. This is a RICO case on steroids. Trafficking. Fraud. Murder by proxy. Her wheels turned. American justice's grindstone. But the swap? That's your cross. No jury buys sci-fi without a demo.
Demo.
The word ignited. We plotted like co-conspirators in a Scorsese flick, low angles. Moral gray. Elena filed anonymously first, injunction against Neuralink for unethical experimentation, citing the leaks as whistleblower drops. Victor's stock tanked 20% overnight. Headlines screaming, biotech scandal rocks valley. He lawyered up. Silk stocking firm from New York. But Elena was scrappier. Digging into his past. Disbarred cousin for insider trading. Offshore shells in the Caymans. Subpoenas flew like confetti at a bear market.
Me?
I went dark, shadowing my own ghost. Tailed Kenzie, Victor in drag through Palo Alto brunches. His, laugh tinkling like shattered glass. Saw the tells, my old habits twisted. Like stirring coffee left-handed, Victor's tick, or that predatory lean when closing deals. Rage festered. You dark as the alleys I haunted. One night, outside a gala at the Tech Museum, I cornered him in the valet line. This body towered over my old one, Earl's frame broad from desert drills. "Miss Hale?" I growled. Voice Earl's bourbon rasp. He froze. My blue eyes, now his, widening in recognition. "You should have let me rot." He recovered slick, whispering, "Earl? Security." But the bluff cracked. I saw the flicker, the fear. Guards hauled me off, zip ties biting wrists, but Elena had tipped the press. Cameras flashed. Mystery man assaults biotech heiress. Viral by dawn. Who is Earl trending on X? Victor spun damage control, pity piece on Kenzie's stalker trauma, but cracks spiderwebbed. Donors surfaced. Families of the vanished. Piecing together blacksite horrors. The controversial calls came next. The ones that'd make water cooler debates erupt like Old Faithful. Elena pushed for class action, roping in victims' kin. But I wanted personal. Full swap reversal, I demanded in her office. Fists clenched on scarred knuckles. "Put me back." She shook her head. "Kenzie, that's not law. That's vengeance. And if it leaks this, they'd crucify us." But I pressed, leaked a snippet of Victor's neural map to a hacker collective, the kind that doxes for fun. They mirrored it worldwide, forcing his hand. Neuralink servers fried under DDoS. Board ousting him in emergency session. Climax brewed in a Marin County courthouse. Fog rolling off the Pacific like cigarette smoke. Elena's suit. Identity theft. Conspiracy to commit murder. RICO violations. Victor, in my skin, took the stand, poised, tearful, the perfect damsel. I loved Kenzie. She was unstable, obsessed. The swap was a hallucination from her breakdown. Jury ate it up, murmurs rippling like bay waves. My turn, testifying as Harlan Reed, consultant witness. No swap reveal, just the files, the threats. Tommy's hospice records showing Victor's bounced promise. He stole her future, I rasped, locking eyes with my stolen self. Now he's living it. Cross-exam? Brutal. Victor's shark attorney Torin. Mr. Reed, you're a drifter with no credentials. Fabricated evidence. But Elena countered with forensics, quantum signatures matching my code. Then the bomb. Our expert, a defected Neuralink physicist, demoed a mini Echo on stage. Not full swap, just memory overlay on a chimp. Chaos erupted, gasps, a juror fainting, bailiff yelling. Judge called recess, but the feed leaked live. America lapped it up, cable news marathons, Reddit rabbit holes, pastors thundering about playing God. We won. Partial, $500 million settlement. Neuralink dissolved. Victor under house arrest pending federal charges.
But the twist?
As ink dried on the decree, Elena pulled me aside in the courthouse bathroom, marble echoing our whispers. Kenzie, there's more. In the sealed files, your brother's chart. Tommy wasn't brain dead from the wreck. Victor. He arranged the crash. Payback for your folks crossing him in an old real estate scam. You took the blame. The guilt. He groomed you to atone. Then this. Reverse truth, not random fate, but engineered. Tommy's coma. My life's anchor. Victor's hook from the start. rage inverted to grief, sharp as shattered vials. I stormed the safe house, Earl's bulk filling the doorway. Victor, cuffed but smirking in my face. You were always mine. Kenzie. From the wheel. I didn't swing. Just whispered. Echoes open source now. Every ghost you buried, they're coming for you. In code. In court. In dreams. Epilogues gray. The American way, no tidy bows. Victor rots in Supermax. Appeals stacking like cordwood.
I
Stuck in Earl's shell. But richer, trust fund for victims. Tommy's care upgraded to a facility with ocean views. He stirs sometimes. Eyelids fluttering like Morse code. Hope. Or Echo. Elena runs for DA now. Our War Stories her platform.
Me.
I code in shadows. Tweaking open source Echo for the dying. Not the damned. Revenge tasted like ash. But justice? That's the controversy. Did I win my skin back? Or just trade one cage for another?
You tell me.
In this country, endings are debates, not dots. The fog of victory lifted slow, like hangover haze after a bender in Vegas. House arrest for Victor meant silk handcuffs, his Marin estate, all glass walls and infinity pools overlooking the sprawl, turned into a gilded cage. Feds monitored via ankle bracelet and nanny cams, but the man still schemed. Whispers reached Elena's clinic, payoffs to guards, ghostwriters penning his memoir from smuggled laptops. He wasn't done, neither was I. Harlan Reed became my armor. A VA pension and settlement scraps buying anonymity in a Bernal Heights walk-up, shotgun apartment with bay views obstructed by power lines. Mornings, I'd brew diner coffee strong as tar, staring at the fog-shrouded bridges, plotting the next hack. Deeper dives into the files revealed the rot's roots. Victor's empire wasn't bootstrapped, it was blood money.
His old man,
a Chicago fixer in the 80s, laundered mob cash through real estate flips. Victor Jr. inherited the savvy, pivoted to tech during the dot-com gold rush. Neuralink? Just the latest shell. The crash that stole Tommy. '03. Rainy night on I-880. I'd always chalk to Dad's road rage, swerving to miss a deer. But manifests showed Victor's Shell Corp owned the trucking firm Dad worked for. Sabotaged brakes. Accident, payout to Mom that vanished into Victor's investments. They'd met at a community college mixer. Victor, then a slick sophomore, wooed her with promises. When Dad pushed back on shady deals, the highway became payback. I was 18, shotgun seat, and scathed but scarred, guilt as my co-pilot ever since. It twisted me, that truth. No more noble savior complex. I was a pawn in a long con. Nights, I'd pace the creaky floors, Earl's joints popping like gunfire, debating the line between justice and jihad. Elena warned it. Vengeance is a virus. Kenzie mutates. She was right. My hacks escalated, not just leaks, but intrusions. Slipped malware into Victor's legal team's cloud, surfacing emails, bribes to the judge's clerk, witness tampering. Feds pounced, upgrading charges to obstruction. But the controversial pivot? I targeted his allies. Harlan, the puppet CEO, who'd signed off on the donor runs. Anonymous tip to IRS, offshore accounts funneled through his yacht club. He flipped like a bad pancake, testifying remote via Zoom from a WITSEC hideout. Kane forced it, he whined, sweat beading under studio lights. Said it'd make us legends. Public ate the circus. Late-night slots on Fox and MSNBC dissected it. Body swap or body snatch? The ethics of Echo. Pundits frothed, conservatives decrying Frankenstein hubris, libs cheering corporate crucifixion. Protests clogged Palo Alto streets, tech bros in hoodies clashing with ethicists waving pitchfork signs. I watched from dive bars. Nursing IPAs. Earl's liver protesting the hops. One panelist, a grizzled bioethicist from Berkeley, nailed it. This isn't science, it's sin dressed in circuits. Who's the monster, the thief or the tool? The tool.
Me.
Guilt gnawed deeper than Earl's emphysema. Project Echo started pure, my thesis on neural prosthetics for locked-in syndrome, giving voices to the voiceless. Victor perverted it. But I'd built the engine. Sleepless. I'd boot up my jury-rigged rig, a salvaged laptop fused with black market quantum chips, simulating swaps in virtual sandboxes. What if I could pull it off solo? Reverse the flow. Yank Victor's ghost back to his husk. But risk stacked, neural feedback loops frying both brains. Or worse, hybrids, chimeras of memory and madness. Elena caught wind during a strategy sesh at her Taqueria haunt. Salsa staining case files. Don't even think it.
Harlan.
That's not law, that's lynching 2.0. Lynching. The word hung heavy. America's original sin echoing in Earl's vet scars. Purple heart from Fallujah. Shrapnel from an IED that should have been diffused. He'd enlisted post 9/11. Chasing glory. Found sand and PTSD instead. His fragmented journals. Scavenged from a locker. Painted a man hollowed out. Buddies vaporized. Tours extended for oil barons' bonuses. Victor's ilk profited off that chaos. Then discarded the wreckage. Swapping into Earl wasn't just survival, it was poetic, living the disposability Victor peddled. I honored him in small ways. VA meetings in fluorescent hells. Sharing smokes with ghosts who nodded at my stories. Mistaking them for theirs. Tension coiled tighter as trial loomed. Federal RICO in San Francisco Superior. The kind of spectacle that packs galleries like Coachella. Elena prepped me ruthless. Mock crosses in her garage. Her husband timing with a stopwatch. Stick to facts.
Harlan.
No, I am Kenzie Bombshells. But facts were fiction here. The swap was the elephant in the neural net. We compromised. I'd testify on tech, not identity. The algorithm's mine, I'd say. Voice steady as Earl's drill sergeant bark. Kane hijacked it for harvest. Harvest. The word curdled, donors as crops. Reaped for the rich. Victor lawyered up nuclear. Alan Dershowitz light. A Fox News darling with a podcast empire. Pre-trial motions flew. Suppressed the demo vid as prejudicial theater. Judge Rivera, a no-nonsense Latina from the Mission, shot it down. This is California. Council. We do spectacle with due process. Leaks kept dripping, my doing. Anonymous GitHub repos seeding code snippets to hackerspaces. Echo went viral underground. Garage tinkerers in Brooklyn swapping goldfish consciousnesses. YouTube tutorials racking millions. Victor raged in monitored calls. My old voice shrill. That bitch is unraveling my legacy. Legacy. His or mine. The night before opening arguments. I broke. Drove Earl's borrowed Chevy, rusted relic from impound, to the hospice. Tommy's room smelled of antiseptic and wilted daisies. Machines humming lullabies. He lay there, 25 going on eternal teen. Curls like mine, but limp. I gripped his hand, calluses rough against his silk. Bro. I fixed it. Sort of. Tears tracked Earl's weathered cheeks, mine now. No reversal, just resolve. Victor's settlement-funded cryo research. Experimental neural bridges. Maybe one day, Tommy wakes in a body that works. Mine? Borrowed time. Court day dawned gray. Chronicle headlines blaring, Swapgate, Kane's last stand. Gallery packed, victims' families in black. Tech gawkers live tweeting. A smattering of MAGA holdouts decrying deep state witch hunt. I slipped in back row. Cap low. Heart hammering like a faulty pacemaker. Elena rose. Firebrand in pencil skirt, painting Victor as Icarus with 4 drips. Ladies and gentlemen, this isn't innovation. It's invasion. Prosecution rolled exhibits. Donor photos, Filipino migrants. Vanished from nail salons. Ukrainian refugees. Lured with green card lies. Jaws dropped. A sob rippled. Victor's turn. My face. Tear-streaked. Recounting Kenzie's descent. She was brilliant, but broken. The affair? Consensual. The tech? Her obsession. Lies slithered smooth. Jury leaning in. Then Elena's cross. MS.
Hail.
Explain these emails. Procure fresh vessel ASAP. Hail, unaware. Mic drop. Victor stammered. My dimples, his now twitching. Recess called. I bolted to the John. Retching bile that tasted like betrayal. Afternoon brought my slot. Swore in on a Bible Earl would have scoffed at, agnostic grunt to the end. State your name. Harlan Reed. Voice boomed. Courtroom shrinking. Walked them through code, entanglement matrices, consciousness checksums. Kane didn't innovate, he appropriated. Demo time, scaled down rig on a cart. Wired to a lab rat. Elena nodded. I initiated. Lights flickered. Rodent twitching as overlay hit. Gasps. Victor bolted up. Objection. Coercion. Sustained. But damage done. Jurors whispered. That's real?
Cross-gutted me.
Mr. Reed. Your background? Drifter. Felonies. Silk attorney pounced. Dredging Earl's rap sheet. Petty thefts from hunger. I parried. Survival. Counselor. Like your client's donors. Smirked. Gallery chuckled. But the hook, and your obsession with MS. Hail? Stalking charges. Elena objected. Overruled. Victor's eyes bored in triumph. I cracked. Just a hair. Obsession? Try ownership.
Gavel banged. Sidebar.
Outside. Reporters swarmed. Who are you really? That night. Safe house breach. Victor's goons. Ex-Blackwater types. Whispers said, trash my walk-up. Message scrawled in spray. Swap back or sink. Elena pulled strings. Feds relocated me to a Witsec flop in Fresno. AG fields stretching like boredom's horizon. Paranoia peaked. Every shadow canes. Every call a trace. But twist brewed in the quiet. Elena's late-night burner. We got him. But the real bomb? Tommy's DNA. Not your full brother. Victor's half-sib from an affair with your mom. The crash? Fratricide cover. Blood ran cold. Reversal squared. Family not fate, but farce. Victor didn't steal a life. He reclaimed his own twisted lineage. Rage alchemized to pity, for him, the monster mirroring my voids. Fresno's flatlands chewed my soul slow. Dust devils dancing like deranged algorithms outside the Witsec bunk, prefab box with 4 mica counters and a mini frig humming dirges. Relocation meant rebirth. But Earl's body rebelled. Chronic cough rattling ribs. Mirrors mocking the thief in vet's clothes. Elena visited fortnightly, smuggling case updates in tamales from her abuela. Rico's airtight now, she'd say. Unwrapping foil. Kane singing to feds, naming names up the food chain. Cartel ties. She implied. Whispers of narco-funded clinics in Tijuana. Victor. Cornered rat. Flipped on titans. Senators with longevity clauses in their trusts. Hollywood execs eyeing eternal youth. But the half-brother bomb festered. I dug solo. Burner laptop pinging dark archives. Mom's diaries. Digitized from estate sales. Post-crash ramblings of regret. Coded references to V's shadow. Victor. The golden boy she'd birthed in secret. Given up for adoption to shield Dad's pride. The wreck? Not payback. But purge. Eliminate the other family. Consolidate the con.
Tommy.
Innocent collateral. My pure sibling. And scathed genetically. Irony bit deep. I'd avenged a ghost. Not blood. Sleepless. I'd chain roll cigarettes. Earl's vice. My crutch. Puffing on the fire escape. Stars smudged by Central Valley smog. America. Land of reinvention.
But some swap stick.
Public frenzy peaked with the plea hearing. Televised from federal court in Oakland. Shadow of the Coliseum. Irony's Coliseum. I watched hold up. Take out chow mein cooling on the sill. Victor. Shackled but suited. My features gaunt under Klieg lights. Guilty, he rasped my voice. Hollowed. Sentence life. No parole. Supermax in Colorado's ass end. Cameras caught the flinch. The glare at the bench. Reporters mobbed Elena outside. Justice for the stolen? She demurred. For the silenced. Echo Fall trended global. Memes of Victor as Pinocchio puppet. Strings to Davos devils. My role? Erased. Officially. Harlan Reed.
Key witness.
Relocated for safety. But leaks our oxygen. A vice docuseries dropped unbidden. Swapped souls. Inside Kane's kingdom. Pixelating my face, but nailing the narrative. Interviews with donors, kin. Hackers who'd forked Echo into open-source elixirs. One segment gut-punched. Tommy's nurse. Teary on camera. The check started again anonymous. Kids showing signs. Miracles happen. My doing. Routed through shells. Not redemption. But restitution. The controversial core? Echo's legacy. Elena's campaign surged on it. Regulate or ruin. But forums raged, libertarians crowing free the code, biopurists burning effigies. I lurked incognito. Posting as vessel ghost. Power corrupts flesh. Who's next? The final confrontation brewed unscripted. 6 months post-plea. Feds greenlit a closure visit supervised. Of course. To Victor's ADX Florence cell block. Elena drove. Her Prius slicing Rockies like a scalpel. Air thinned. Tension thickened. Earl's lungs labored. Oxygen mask fogging my resolve. Why go? She asked. Hands white on wheel. Twist the knife. Untwist it, I muttered. Truth reversed again. Pity for the parasite. Curiosity for the kin. ADX loomed brutal, concrete fortress. No windows. Souls in solitary. Escort marched us through bowels. Buzzers beeping judgment. Visitation booth. Plexiglass divide. My old face leering opposite. Aged. Jowls sagging from stress chow. Kenzie, he drawled. Static crackling. Or should I say Earl? Come to gloat. I leaned in. Mic humming. Came to understand. Mom's journals. The half-blood lie. His eyes, my eyes flickered. Mask slipping. She was weak. Dad, your saint? Mine was a thug. I built empires. You built mazes. Mazes. Echo's metaphor. Neural labyrinths we navigated together. You stole my body to escape yours, I pressed. Voice Earl's gravel symphony. But Tommy?
He was clean.
Why?
Pause.
Eternal as entanglement lag. Leverage. Your white knight shtick kept you pliable. Crash was collateral. Like Fallujah for your host, Earl's ghost stirred. I gripped the counter. Knuckles blanching. And now, legacy in lockdown. He laughed. Bitter bark. Open source? Fools playing with fire. You'll see, swaps breed monsters. Your proof. Booth buzzer ended it. Guards shuffling him away. Back in the Prius. Elena's silent till the pass. Closure. Chasm, I admitted.
He's right.
Echoes out, good.
Bad. Gray.
She nodded. Radio crackling NPR on AI ethics. Debates eternal. Like Senate filibusters. Back in Fresno. Reinvention rooted. I mentored at a community college. Intro coding for vets. Earl's stories woven in as cautionary code. Tommy progressed. First words in years. Sis, slurred over video calls.
His eyes.
Mine unswapped.
Pure.
Settlement funds seeded a nonprofit. Echo Equity. Neural aids for the underserved. No immortality, just mobility. Donors trickled, ex-neural linkers seeking absolution. Victor's appeals dragged. Tabloids tracking his jailhouse conversion. Born-again screeds smuggled out. Railing against godless tech. I ignored. But one letter slipped through Witsec. His scrawl. My slant. We were always one. Kenzie. Swap back in dreams. Burned it. Ashes to wind. Ending? Pick your poison. Happy, Tommy walks. I code from shadows. Victor's empire dust. Tragic. Earl's body fails. Echo mutates into black market horrors. My win a pyrrhic glitch. Controversial. Was I hero or hacker? Victim or vector? America thrives on the argument. Over beers. Ballots.
Bites. Me?
I live borrowed. Breathing for two, the woman I was. The man who housed her. In the end, revenge isn't reversal, it's recursion. Loop forever. Or break the code. What say you? Fade to credits. Or reboot.